Good morning and welcome to everyone joining us for this preview on behalf of Marshall's World of Sport. Today racing takes place at Turffontein on the inside track. What we're going to do today is focus in on four races 3, 5, 8 and 9. I'll just dissect a few runners that I believe are at worthy prices of throwing into all the exotics and maybe worth taking a few little each way nibbles and throw it into the exactas and the likes, maybe some all to come places. Whatever you fancy, you take the route, I'll give you the horses and you make the play of them. Starting off in race number 3 over the 1,000 meter trip, it is on the Turffontein inside track, so they are racing around the turn. My first selection, number 1, Stormy Seas, unfortunately has a little bit of a wide draw to overcome. But looking at the overall form, has had 4 runs at the course for 2 seconds and a third placing. 3-time winner from the 21 runs. And at decent odds, I believe number 1, Stormy Seas, is a horse that you can factor into all of your equations. Certainly worth a little bit of a each-way bet. She is a 5-year-old. This is a 5-year-old son of Time Thief and Stormy Seas. It's a mixed bag here. There's some fillies, there's some boys, so a whole different bag of runners here. But I believe number 1, Stormy Seas, if he rocks up at the track and he gets lucky in the running, he could certainly factor into the money. We'll then move on to race number 5. In the 5th race, a horse at a big price, number 1, Warship. Here's a horse that you've got to include into all the exotics and take your swingers and your exactas with. And at these prices, definitely worth a little bit of an each-way wager. Looking at the draw, not too worried about the draw over the 1,200. It's a small field. Muzieni jumps aboard for the Candace Dawson stable. And when you analyze Warship's form lines and you go back earlier on, was taking on some fair opposition. Distance-wise, 2 of the 3 wins have come over the distance. I remember calling Warship in KwaZulu-Natal. That was on the poly track when coming from a long way back and beat Vion's Pa on that occasion. Absolutely flew up the outside, raced past them in the manner of a decent horse. The next 2 runs, a little bit below par behind What a Honey, but then 2 lengths behind Flower Bomb. Now that's right alongside number 2, Green. So if you put those 2 together, numbers 1 and 2, they're 2 horses for the shortlist that you have to include into all of your exotics. Maybe take some exactas, the 1 and 2 and the swingers. However, number 1, Warship, I believe this could be some nice value in race number 5. We're then going to move to races 8 and 9. Getting on to race number 8. This is over 1,800 meters. I'm going to take on the favorite here, number 8, Pragmatist. I believe this one is beatable. There's a few runners in here with some fair form. And having a look, number 2, High Moon, is going to be my first selection. Still a 1-time winner from the 21 races to date. 7 seconds, 4 thirds, and 2 fourths to this individual's credit. Distance-wise, 6 runs for 2 thirds and 2 fourths. And this is a horse who I think is going to run an absolute cracker. In fact, if you look at the distance form, it's 2 seconds and 2 thirds. So the 6 runs, yet to win over the distance, but there's 2 seconds and 2 thirds in the form lines there. A horse who usually races without the shoes from the Clinton Binder stable. Second to Wave Warrior in an 80 handicap last time out. Third in the prior 3 runs to that. And then second to Wandering Star. So I think this is a horse who could certainly give the favourite something to think about. More experienced. And let's just have a look. Good draw, lots in the favour. 1,800 meters, no problem. Has been up to 2,400 meters before, and that could be the horse to beat the favourite. Number 5, Oyster King. Here's a horse who is still a 6-time winner. 6-time winner from the 54 runs to date, or 52 runs to date, from the Yonker stable. I don't know too much about Oyster King, but just having a look at the earlier runs behind Duke of Sussex in an 88 and a third to Runners 1, which was in a 90 handicap. Here's a horse who could certainly upset the apple cart and worth throwing into all of your exotics. As far as the favorite number 8, Pragmatist, goes, won a very good maiden, and in the post-maiden effort was a cracking run, went second to Good Counsel. Didn't go up in the ratings, but let's just see if this horse, how good it is. I'm going to take this individual on. If it does win, and you're taking two different perms, maybe bank a Pragmatist in the one perm, and the other perm add in your 3 or 4 runners, and include the horses that I have selected. Then on to race number 9. In race 9, number 2, Quiet Rebellion. Here's a horse who I believe who could provide some decent value. If you go back in the form lines, 1, Carlos. The litigation form line is very strong. A number of winners from there. Ran behind Flying First Class, Opera Glass, and the likes of Gilded Butterfly. Unfortunately, is stuck in the merit rating system. Off a 75, being so consistent, they haven't really dropped this individual, number 2, Quiet Rebellion. I think going to give you a good run for your money, and then throw in horse number 3, Tinder Dry, at a big price. Has lost the form, and another horse who hasn't really come down significantly in the ratings. Was up in the 80s, down to a 74. And this is another run at a big price for your swingers, trifectas, and the likes. And then number 6, Strange Magic, after winning very impressively in the maidens. More to do, but a horse that you have to give healthy respect to. So we have focused in on 4 races on the meeting, and those are the horses that I have selected that you can play your perms around. Have a little bit of fun as far as the exactas, the wins, the places, and the quartets go. And hopefully you have a winning day with Marshall's World of Sport.